You tell me one more.
Bam, I think we're live. We should be live. And we're just waiting on Dave.
Okay.
Here he is now. So
I hear him.
Eric, hang on one second. Mr. Dave. Mr. Dave.
Mr. Treslar.
All right, hang on one second. Let me merge a couple calls here. Hang on.
We got it.
All right. Do I have both Eric and Dave? All right, hang on. Hang on. I think I got
Boys
both.
at the game.
I think we got everybody.
I think we got everybody.
Yes.
I think we did it.
Victory.
It's a good start.
Can you guys hear the applause and the music and all that when I do it?
I haven't heard the music, but I heard the applause.
I didn't hear the music either.
Well, we haven't hit the music yet. We're about to hit the music.
Oh, that's what you hit?
No, who is that? Who's going bow, bow, bow? What is that?
That's the music, man.
Oh, I get it now.
Well, on that note,
I guess I'm off beat.
on that note, let's get this party rolling. It's good to be back to die again on this hill.
Oh, yeah.
With my friends. Today, in studio, Mr. Joey D'Alessandro. How you doing, buddy?
Woo! I'm doing great. Doing great. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
And
How
for
are
the
you?
for the first time ever, we got two callers on the line at once. I love this little machine here because it's just connecting us even when we can't all be together. So shout out to Mr. David Hastings, who is on the line with us, and Mr. Erich Pfeiffer. We'll start with Dave. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well, Eric. How you guys doing?
Hanging in there. Hanging in there. How about you, Eric? How you doing?
I'm excited. I get to watch the Game 7, baby. Season went as long as it possibly could.
Let's
Right,
go.
listen.
Let's go.
And to be honest, I don't know of a better, I'm going to die on this hill. No two greater words in sports. Game 7.
Especially one where teams could possibly make history.
Yeah, I mean, listen, 1945, the last time a team even pushed it to Game 7. That's the last time it got pushed to Game 7.
42 was the last time a team won it.
So, I mean, and we're looking at a really hot Oilers team who has now fought back from down 3-0.
Yeah, Canada.
It's too early to curse, but blank Canada. Anyway, good for them, though. I mean, listen, they got the number one player in the world, arguably, in Connor McDavid. They've been able to figure some things out. Have they? The only question I got for you is the only guy I think who hasn't given him much production is Draisaitl, right?
Yeah, he got on the board. Not last game, the game before, I think. But
Still
not a lot, not as much
down
production as you
series
would
for
hope.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of production from other guys.
They are. And, it was somewhere midway through game 3 was when they finally figured it out. And when going into game 4, their top line still hadn't hit the score sheet yet.
And then David has back-to-back games with 4 points.
Right. And I don't know if you guys remember, but after game 2, when we were pretty high on Florida dominating the way they were, somebody in the show had mentioned that Connor McDavid he's going to have at least 2 magical games in this series, and that can galvanize the roster. And I think that's what got us to this game 7 was that he just put them on their back. And then in game 6, the top line didn't score, but the depth did what they needed him to do. So it kind of worked out how that guy thought it was going to.
That guy's so good, man. That's why he's a superstar. That's why he's the best in the game right now.
Listen, that's why he's our analyst. That's why we got him.
No, for real. Somewhere in that game 3, Anderson figured something out, and it was midway through. And part of me thinks it's, Bobrovsky's been so good at that side-to-side movement, making those saves side-to-side, right? Not the whole playoffs. And I think when you get a goalie like that, he's reacting. So he's coming side to side, but he's also overcommitting to that. So what a lot of teams were doing against him was they were trying to score on that post. So if he's picture him on the left post, puck gets moved across the crease to the right post, his right post. He slides over and he's in position, and they're shooting that right post because they got him coming across the net. I think what Edmonton finally figured out was hold it for a second, shoot back across the grain because he's overcommitted to that right post. So then you shoot back to the original post that he was on, and you score a couple like that, and you get him thinking, and now all of a sudden he's not coming across as fast. You're in his head a little bit, and I'd like to think that that's a little bit of what happened to where they were able to start finding the back of the net, and now when the puck comes across, they're looking for open net wherever it is because he's not coming as hard as he was, which is one of the reasons he got pulled.
Can't argue with you there, Dave. What do you got? What do you got thoughts wise on this series and what Fife's throwing out there?
I think the other thing you've noticed too is that they're trying to get the shots higher. So they they're literally trying to lift the puck, where his strengths seem to have been, the lower shots, and that kind of ties into the side to side. I think they're also getting him up top as well, and you got to wonder what's going through his brain right now, because it's got to be frustrating as hell to play as well as he played, and then these last 3 games have just been brutally rough.
Absolutely. And, I don't know if you guys saw that game 4, that 8-1 game, or any parts of it. But, man, Edmonton has added something to my bucket list. I would love to see a playoff game in Edmonton someday before I die, because those guys from goal 1 to goal 8 were just as hyped, just as energized. I mean, it was wild.
Yeah, they got so much energy in that building.
It's unreal. Like, you can feel it through the TV. It's crazy.
And they got a bunch of characters, too, in the stands. I saw, so many people dressed up and whatnot.
Oh, and you heard about the chick from the Dallas game, right?
Oh, yeah, she got a Playboy spread on out of that.
Get the hell out of here, did
she? Yeah,
really?
she did.
She did.
Good for her. Yeah, dude, a porn site like Brazzers or something like that offered her a contract, and she turned it down. But Playboy, she got a Playboy spread out of it.
Unbelievable.
Right?
A hot woman.
I mean, look, family-friendly show, but I mean, a buddy of mine showed me the initial video because I was only able to find it blurred, just out of curiosity, obviously. It's news. You gotta check the news. But I mean, they're nice.
I think he got censored there. I think he got a little censored there.
I just said they're nice. It wasn't nothing crazy, which is a little out of the norm for me, but they were nice.
She was having fun and she owned it, and that's the one thing I'll take from it. If she didn't run from it, she's not out there even, granted she's getting this, Playboy spread out of it, but still that wasn't her intention. Like she said, she was at the game, she was having fun. It's something that happened. People can get over it. You know how many women have done that at concerts, other things? It's not that big a deal.
That's true.
But the fact is she's kind of galvanized the team a little bit. People get behind her. She's now a focal figure of the. She's now a super fan of the team because of it.
Is she the Grimace of Edmonton?
No, because they still went down 3-0 after that in this series. So I can't say that it's because of her that they've turned it around. I don't think so. But I think that, Barstool's latched onto her. Other people have, tried to, and again, she's now going to be known as like the same way like Fireman Ed is, or in other places when they have famous fans. She's going to now be Oilers Kate,
Fire Tick Kate.
I don't know if you go. I think it's Oilers Kate. I think it's Oilers Kate is what I think it is. But either way. She's gonna be probably somewhere in the stands in Game 7, I imagine. And listen, it like you've pointed out and Dave pointed out, it's all about beating Bobrovsky. If they could do that, they're gonna win this game, and it seems like they figured something out. So he better go back to the drawing board and tweak something himself. His coaches better be looking at the same film and figuring out the ways that they can adjust themselves. But If they don't make that adjustment, it's going to be over quick because Edmonton's been all over them the last 3 games.
Well, I honestly think that from a hockey goalie standpoint, the worst thing he can do is try and change his game right now. I think who needs to change is the players in front of him. They need to shut down things that are beating him and make sure that doesn't happen. And that's going to be key, And if I had to compare this to say like the series as a whole, to say like a heavyweight boxing match, I'd have to go all the way back to like Ali Foreman, where Ali kind of let him punch himself out and then came on strong. So when you come to Game 7, guys like to come in and they like to jab a little bit. I think that the team that comes out more like a Mike Tyson is going to be the team that wins this Game 7. And I have a prediction, and we can wait till the end for that. But I'm going with my gut on it. So,
any thoughts on Okposo playing tonight for the Panthers?
No, not really. So he's a nice guy to have in the lineup. That's pretty much all I can go with that.
All right. I just didn't know if you thought maybe. He's 36, getting up there. He's no spring chicken. But yeah, I guess listen. It's Game 7. You don't want to leave with any ifs or could-haves or anything else. You leave nothing to chance. You throw the kitchen sink at it today, and see what you could do. Whatever you think and your team thinks is the best options, that's what you got to roll with. And I got to think that the Florida's just too damn good a team to lose 4 in a row, and then to lose at home too, because this is a home game for them.
Edmonton's kind of taking their soul though right now, man. They
really have, and they've won down there too. So it's not like they haven't.
They've killed Bobrovsky's confidence as well. So that's huge right there.
But at some point though, you've got to get past these last 3 games and reset. Can Bobrovsky do that?
Also,
can he reset? Because you got to look at it as this is one and done. This is do or die.
Correct.
And you come in. I don't think you have that down mindset. You go in going the pass is the pass. It don't matter.
Score first.
This is the championship
Florida needs to score first, or else that building's going to be quiet and everybody's going to be pooping themselves. And my bad, Fife. What were you going to say?
Well, I was just saying, if you got to look back too, like Edmonton has kind of been here before the regular season. They had if you looked at them in the beginning of the season, they were down in the dumps. Nobody would even thought they were in the playoffs.
What they lose? They went on a 6 to start the year.
Yeah, and then they went on a 16-game winning streak, which is the second longest. They even picked up after the All-Star break and won a couple games. After a long break. Another thing was that about Bobrovsky is all I'm saying is they can win a lot of games in a row, right? But they also didn't play the Florida Panthers 16 games in a row. So it's hard to beat them full-time. Bobrovsky, which is not normal for him, sat out practice yesterday. And I think it was just more of a which, I don't fault the team for allowing that to happen.
To go to that point, that's pretty much what they did is they gave him, he took part in an optional skate though this morning, but yeah, they want to give him that time a little bit, I think. But they need to know, they need to do different things. And is the coach? Who's the coach there? Maurice, is that the coach? Who's the coach there?
I honestly have no idea.
Well, Maurice.
Yeah, Maurice. Because he said, I liked his last game. Thought he was strong and solid. Now we were kind to him. We didn't give him a shorthanded breakaway to start the game. I thought that was good for us. Cut down on those for him. We give him a chance, and we give him a chance.
Right. And that's what I mean when I say, I don't really think he needs to adjust his game. Like I said, as a goalie, you can't over-adjust, especially when you played as well as he has throughout the entire playoffs. I think it's the team in front of him that needs to make the adjustments at this point. And again, we're in a one game. It's everything else that's happened is over. This is one game. That's it. And you got to go into it with that mindset. That this is one game. This is do or die. This is it. There's no thinking about a 7-game series now. It's one game. Everybody's had the same amount of rest from Game 6 to Game 7, and you need to go into it, and you got to lay everything out there. lay down block shots with your teeth if you have to. That's what it's all about. I'm not kidding, dude. That's the team that's going to win. There's a team that's willing to sacrifice everything.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't know if you caught the end of, what was it, 2 games ago? The end where Edmonton was fighting, or I'm sorry, Florida was fighting back, and
Kachuk.
Barco, was it Kachuk?
Kachuk got the
saved the goal.
Saved the goal, and then,
the empty netter. But then they still put it in. But I mean, that was just a hell of an effort to just make that one save. I mean, you can't. The rebound is the rebound. I mean, just to make that save, that's exactly what you're going to. That point is you have to have that level of effort tonight. You have to have that go all out at any cost, throw your body, whatever it takes. I mean, like that was absolutely a whatever it takes moment there, and he did it. Unfortunately, the guy behind him put it in. Yeah. But, you know, that's the effort you're looking for.
We haven't heard from Mr. David Hastings too much. Dave, can we get some insight from you on this Game 7?
I mean, it is without a doubt one of those games that you got to think to yourself, like, how could Florida end up losing a 4th in a row with how well they've played? Yet there's no denying that all the momentum is on Edmonton's side, but I just think that at some point or another, you have to think to yourself that, you know, favor is going to turn back into the fortune of the team that started up 3-0. I could definitely be wrong the way the series has gone, but I genuinely I think it's going to be a hell of a game, and I do think that it ends up going to coming down to the final minutes. I'd love if it went into overtime.
That'd be sick.
Just to have a Game 7 overtime just even makes it even more crazy. But yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a hell of a battle. I think it's going to be a great game, and as Pfeiffer so eloquently put it, the season lasted as long as it could have, and that's freaking awesome. And you know, as Erich said, and a hill that I think we'll all die on is there's no better word in the world, phrase in the world of sports than Game 7. I mean, unless your team's playing in it, then you probably would have preferred not to have a Game 7. But you know. We take it for what it is.
You're like, if you're a Florida fan, you're like, damn it, I want a Game 7. If you're an Edmonton fan right now, you're like, thank God for Game 7.
Hang on, I think we're losing the connection a little bit there. I don't know if there's another spot that maybe you could move to, but you're kind of coming in and out a little bit there. So, but yeah, this game's gonna be a hell of a game. I'm 100% with Dave. I don't really give a crap who wins. I just want to see a good game, and if it could go to overtime, even better. It's just all about entertainment. Give me a close game going into the third period, tied, 1-goal game. Give me something to hold on to where this isn't a 5-goal game in midway through the second period. You know, give us something better, and I think they will. I think they can, and I think these teams are stacked, and I think it's going to be a fun night of hockey. Enjoy it because it's going to be the last night of hockey for a few months. You know, putting us into them. We're getting into the dog days of summer, though.
Yes,
we are. That's just it. We're getting into this time of the year. NBA wrapped up. NHL is wrapping up now. And then it's really baseball and WNBA until... And I notice how I'm throwing WNBA in there now. WNBA until you hit training camp, really, and August, where you might start seeing some preseason action. But I mean, even training camp's a slightly boring. Although I'm excited for training.
Though, at least
I'm excited for training camp a little bit because the Giants are going to be on Hard Knocks, so at least I'll be able to see some more behind the scenes. Maybe be able to get a little more of a mindset of where Dable and Shane want to take this team and what they're thinking. I'm actually interested in it. I wasn't a big fan of it when I first heard about it because I'm like, screw the Hard Knocks. I don't want to be on Hard Knocks. But now the more I'm thinking about it, it's their 100th anniversary. Regardless of that, I just think with the new coach and new GM and a make it or break it year for Daniel Jones and other people, I think that it is an intriguing team, and I'm actually excited for the Hard Knocks. Not to get us off hockey, if you're back and you want to wrap up
I'm with
here.
You.
But that
I'm with you on
really,
that.
I'm pumped about that. So I think that starts beginning in July, right? The Hard Knocks.
I think so, and I've also heard that the Giants version of it is not as in depth as they've gone with other training camps.
What do you mean? Elaborate for me.
Like it's more about the process of the off season than it is like all the training camp stuff, from what I understand.
Correct.
So the only way the Giants agreed to it was so that they didn't, because the Giants never wanted to do hard.
Oh
knocks,
no, they didn't want to do it.
Right. But it's just not what the organization wanted to do. So they agreed to a lesser version of it, where it's more about the off season, the draft room, things of that nature. But it's not going to be there during training camp and inside the like you're not going to get the Rex Ryan type stuff. And I think that doing it this way is how the Giants organization would want to do it, because then they never have to do it again the more in-depth way.
All right, makes sense. Dave, by any chance, know you're a Cowboy fan, and I'm going to kick it to Joey after that. Do either of you have any interest in Hard Knocks and what's going on and with the Giants being there? Dave, I know at least you might have a little bit more interest, being it's an NFC East team. Any interest at all you're going to watch?
I mean, I haven't watched Hard Knocks since the Cowboys have been on it, but this one is, like I've said, right? It's supposed to be different. It's going to follow the beginning part of the off season. So I think I'd probably check it out just to see exactly how they do it, how they go about it. And yeah, I'll probably check out at least one episode or two, see what it's like.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Dave.
For those that couldn't see on YouTube, I was showing my latest picture. If you know our fourth or fifth official host here, Louie, Janice got me a new picture of Louie dressed up as a New York Giant.
It's awesome.
So check it out. It'll be on the wall. It'll be on the wall next to the Yankee one soon.
That sounds like PETA should be called for that.
Dave. It is
I have watched, though. Know what I did get into? Well, I didn't get into. The wife was into it, so of course then I had to watch. But the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, their TV show, I watched last season.
Right?
Yeah, their last season, the 2023. I just actually watched a few episodes out with her this weekend.
Nice.
Not bad. They do a lot of nice stuff.
Yeah, and your favorite part of it all was like the cheerleading stuff, right? Like
the charity work, actually. I appreciate all the charities that they get involved in, They really, the way they go to the old folks' home and cheer them up, and the way they do a lot for the community. And that's what I appreciate most about the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders.
Good man.
Is the amount that they do for the community.
Oh, I thought it was just, never
mind. Dave, any thoughts?
Haven't seen it, but I have seen it, listed on Netflix. So I can't lie that it may be something I have to check out.
All right. Yeah, that's where actually we watched it. It was Netflix last season. It was on Netflix. So just used to watch it when it was on. I think it used to be on CMT or one of those other stations on cable, but then now it's got pushed to Netflix. But yeah, give it a chance. I think I don't think you'll hate it. What about you, Joey? What do you think about Hard Knocks or the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders? What are you watching? Which are you picking to watch?
I'm probably picking the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. Not gonna lie. Honestly, though, Hard Knocks, I'm really interested with this. Like Fife said, they're doing something a little different. It's more about the draft and the offseason. So because they haven't done that yet, that does interest me a little bit. I'm intrigued to see if anybody called them at the number 6 spot for, to try and move up. Did Minnesota try or anything like that? Did they try to move up to 3 to try and get Drake May? If so, do you hear what kind of package that they put together? So, yeah, I'm a little intrigued by it. I am. I'll definitely take a look at it. But Hard Knocks is now basically doing the whole season. I think they're doing off-season stuff, in-season stuff, and training camp as well. So it's Hard Knocks all year round.
No, but I don't think the Giants are the in-season one.
No,
I think there's two other teams, right?
Like they're doing the off-season. I think the Giants start the off-season.
Yeah.
Then they're doing in training camp, which is sometime in July as well. And then they do in season, which is like what they did with the Dolphins this last year.
And then the in training camp, is that the Steelers or am I wrong on that?
I think it's the Bears.
Because I was going to say that during the season, I think it's the Ravens and the Steelers.
And I don't know why. And then in training camp, I believe it's Caleb Williams and the Bears.
Which, by the way, I'm anybody who hypes that up, you got to have your head examined. Because tell me the last time the Bears have ever been able to cultivate or
Sexy
produce.
Rexy, bro. Sexy Rexy.
There was nothing sexy about Rexy.
To
Rex
go off
Ryan
of
was
two
sexier.
about the Giants one too. To go off of what Dave and Joey were saying, like, you see a lot of armchair GMs out there, right? That are saying, "Oh, we should have done this. We should have done it." I'm very interested. That's what interests me the most, I think, is the front office stuff. So that's really why I want to see it, because I'm interested in how the front office, the inner workings of the front office. And then to top it off, to go back to the number 3 thing, I was saying all before the draft, all through the draft, I don't think the Giants ever had any intention of moving up 3 spots to get a quarterback. I think they were going to take the best player available at 6. That was their intention from the start. So I'd like to see if I was right.
I just wonder if they're actually going to show you that, or if they're going to hide part of that process.
I really hope
because
they
they're
do.
not going to. But
They're
again,
not
they
show
don't want
everything.
to.
You're right.
Only because they don't want to give away their strategies that they may use in future drafts to other teams. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing, is like, you're kind of. I get that it's a peek into that world, but I just wonder how much. Like, I feel like that's why maybe the training camp stuff and the season stuff, you'll get more out of it because you're going to see the inner workings of the team more. You're going to see the coach, the players, or whatever. This is front office, which is great, but I just don't see a bunch of those suit and tie guys from the front office being super open with the cameras, being like, "Oh yeah, this is what we thought, and this is why we thought it, and we made this move, and we sent this offer." Now maybe I might be 100% wrong, by the way. But
they're going to be super excited when they take the Malik Neighbors pick. 100%. They're going to be like, "Oh my God, Neighbors, let's go." Put it on the board.
You're not going to see them
super
wavering
excited for that. But go ahead, Fife.
Well, that's what I was wondering too. Like the same thing. Like, 'cause I've heard that they were in the draft room, and you're going to get all the draft room conversations. This is what I've heard preliminary going into it. That they were there, and you're going to get that. Now, if that turns into the phone call to Malik Neighbors to say you're on the team, like, that's going to be depressing, because you can just catch that on SportsCenter.
True.
Like, I want to know the conversation between Dable and Shane going into, leading up through the first 3, 4, 5 picks, and then going into the Neighbors pick. Like, I want to hear it all. So that's what I've heard you're going to get. And if you just get like, "We took Neighbors, yay! Hey, Neighbors, you're on the team," like, I'm not going to be happy with that.
I think that, but I'm going to be honest with you, I think that's what we're going to get. I think we're going to get a lot of the Neighbors as our guy. That's the guy. And then they're going to be like, "Yeah, we drafted him." Like, I don't think they're going to give us, "Well, we really were hoping this guy was going to slide or that guy was going to." I just don't see it, because then it's kind of almost going to be like, "Well, the Giants didn't really want Neighbors. He was just the guy that fell to him."
True. That's
and
true.
people are going to start that narrative, and I can already see that the PR people are like, no. So.
Yeah. And you wonder how much control people have over an outside company's.
So being that they're breaking it up, and doing a couple different hard knocks with different teams and different scenarios throughout the season, is there one that intrigued? Now I know this is more a question for, I guess, Dave and Joey, because to me and you, obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, I'm wearing a giant hat right now. I just showed you a picture of my dog dressed up as a giant. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I you know where I'm going to go with this. I know where you're going to go with this. But Joey, Dave, tell me, out of all the hard knocks, which one are you the most intrigued to watch, if you're going to watch any of them this season?
Dave, go ahead.
Honestly, probably the Giants one. That's really a side of things that you don't get to see. We've seen the off-season training camp one. We've now seen the in-season one. So I gotta say, it's got to be the one I haven't seen yet.
I gotta be honest, I didn't see the in-season one. I haven't seen that one yet.
And I'm gonna go with the Ravens, to be honest with you. I think they're Super Bowl hungry. They went 13-4 last year. I think Lamar had an MVP year. I think they're focused on Super Bowl this year, so I'm interested to see them, to be honest.
I'm interested to see if Derrick Henry is a little bit rejuvenated having a guy like Lamar in the backfield with him because people are going to be concentrating more on Lamar than even him.
Mm-hmm.
So how much is that going to actually free up for him? And if he can be that battering ram, especially late in the game, where all of a sudden now you're getting hit by that Mack truck over and over again, I could see it wearing defenses down, especially if they got a lead. If they can get a lead early, that could be a tough team to beat. I gotta be honest, because they always play solid defense. They always have a good defense. I'm not even, they're gonna be good. But the offense, and it's can Lamar get over that hump? Can Lamar and I think with some weapons that he has, he's getting better outside weapons. He's getting better help, I think, in the backfield. And I'm interested to see it too, because I honestly think that they're a team that's really, really dangerous in the AFC. So I think that one intrigues me, because to be honest, the Bears one doesn't intrigue me. I got to be honest. Maybe it's just me, but I can care less about seeing
You hate Caleb Williams, that's why.
No, to be honest, I'm indifferent. I don't really hate the guy, but I just don't see... The Bears have never developed a quarterback. Ever. Do I think this is the time they do it? Hell no. even if they have good weapons, yes, which I think Keenan Allen is a stud when he's healthy. I think DJ Moore is good. I think, tight
end, Cole Kmet.
They got a bunch of weapons. I'm not saying that they don't have weapons. They do. They have a quarterback they like now. Great. But can they develop them? And I don't think they can. They never have. They probably never will. And to be honest, a preseason guy, what am I going to watch him throw 4 passes and then go back to the sideline? They don't play anyway. So,
well, and speaking of non-developed Bears quarterbacks, I have a side bet with somebody at work that Justin Fields will throw more touchdown passes or have more touchdowns this year than Russell Wilson.
You have the Russell Wilson side or the Field side?
I got Fields.
Ooh.
I got Fields. I think he takes over.
Really? Because everything I'm hearing is like Russ is rejuvenated and he's...
Of course you're going to hear that, though.
But I'm just saying, I don't hear anything about Fields.
Prop up your team time.
But I don't hear anybody propping up Fields. That's my point. I don't hear anybody propping that up. So that's why I'm a little shakier on Fields, because it seems like you're hearing at least something coming out about Russ. You're not hearing anything coming out about Fields. So it'll be wait and see. If it happens, I'm rooting for you. I hope it happens, but I hope you got some odds on that.
Nah, man, I took him straight up. It's not for a lot. It's for like $10.
Oh, all right. Still.
But I just think he's going to, whether it be through injury or fear of Tomlin not going 500 or better, I think that they go with the young kid with the legs at some point.
I'll tell you what, that is, and I absolutely hate to admit it, because you guys know my distaste for Deshaun Watson and the Browns, but that's a really tough division, man.
Best division
especially
of football right
with
now.
Burrow's coming back. Like, Cincinnati's gonna be pretty good.
Didn't all the teams last year finish above 500?
I think so. But again, I could see it happening again, because they're gonna beat each other up for sure. But at the same time, they're gonna beat a lot of other teams in other divisions
Yes,
too.
they are.
So I think that you're looking at a lot of winning teams in this division, and probably one of the toughest. So that's why I'm actually intrigued, outside of the Giants one, intrigued probably the most by like what you were saying, Joey, of the Ravens, because I think they have that type of talent to make the next step.
Awesome blossom.
Hey, man, do you remember when I called you before the show started? You were like, yeah, we were delaying it because we weren't sure we were going to have a lot of things to talk about. Well, I told you could talk, right?
Yeah, but again, there's some things that I don't know if you guys are going to want to talk about, and that's where I don't know how long it's going to go. Because that brings me next to the next thing is, you talk about entertaining, you talk about entertainment. Did you guys happen to catch any of it? Because I'm pretty sure it set more records this weekend, and both women did absolutely phenomenal. But did either of you check out the
Angel
Clark
Reese.
versus Reese battle?
Let's go, Angel Reese.
Did you even look, maybe the highlights even? Did you catch any of it?
She's a dog, baby. She's a dog.
I was just going to go real quick, just let you know, I didn't even watch a single second or highlight of the NBA playoffs. So
why would he watch the
that'll tell you
WNBA?
if I.
Maybe
Exactly.
the WNBA intrigues him more, though. You hear so much about Caitlin Clark. You hear so much about what's going on. Sometimes your curiosity just piques and you're like, you know what? Again, not that you guys sit down and watch a whole game, but maybe you read an article, maybe you catch some highlights. You know, listen, you're a sports savvy guy. I'm pretty sure that you knew the name Caitlin Clark, whether or not you've watched a WNBA game.
Oh, yeah. But I'll tell you right now that the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders Netflix special intrigues me more than the
I'm with
WNBA.
Fife.
I got to tell you, though, this to me is shaping up like it could be one of sports' best rivalries in the near future, if it's not already. Because, I mean, you have it. Reese did unbelievable, 25 points, 16 boards. Clark had 17 points, 13 assists. Like, both girls played really well, or both women played really well. And, yeah, I mean, they're setting records as young kids, coming in the league, and they're stepping up to the plate. And listen, Caitlin Clark got smacked in the mouth for the first few weeks, and I'm sure she still is. But she's bouncing back. She's showing that resilience. She's making the most of it, and she's been leading her team to some wins after starting 0-4 and 1-7 or whatever they started. They're
6-8 now, I think, right?
No, they're I think 6-10, but still. They're right there. They're at least winning more games now, and she's starting to get her feet under her. So it's, to be honest, a rivalry I think you're going to hear so much more about over the next probably 10 to 12 years, if not longer, because they're both coming in as rookies. They're both going to have really good and really long careers, and they're going to be compared to each other for a long time. And I just think that even though you don't watch it now and you haven't watched much, at least you know some names. And eventually, I think it's going to pique your interest enough to at least catch some highlights. Dave, any chance you've caught any of this WNBA action?
No, I was down in Atlantic City for my buddy's bachelor party, so I didn't get a chance to watch much sports. But I did see some highlights. Caitlin Clark I think she started hot and kind of went cold. The Indiana went up. I think they were up by as much as like 17 or 18, and Chicago made the fight back, and that was mainly led by Angel Reese. So it was a competitive game, and two of the league, and I think that I feel like I'm almost hearing about Angel Reese as much as Caitlin Clark. Like, it's not actually the same, but it's coming. It's getting closer. And I think Angel Reese is putting herself pretty far ahead right now in voting for Rookie of the Year.
Oh, definitely.
So, yeah, I mean, I think, look, rivalries are good for sports. I mean, you can't even look at the NBA right now and be like, oh, well, what's the closest thing we have to Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese? We got nothing. I mean, we literally have nothing. So it kind of gives you, I think it helps them with even more. I mean, the closest comparison these two girls are getting are Bird and Magic. Now, I don't think it's that serious. But I do think for when, the NBA, it's something to build off of. And hopefully, like Eric said, these girls have, long and successful careers and can play against each other for as long as God allows it.
And just to piggyback off what Dave said, I believe Angel Reese has like 8 games in a row with a double-double. She also had 25 and 16. I think the only other player in the league to do such a thing was Asia Wilson, who's the best player in the league. That just goes to show you how well Reese is playing right now. And also, I agree, Dave. I think Reese is probably making her mark for Rookie of the Year. I know Caitlin had a decent game yesterday, had 13 assists. She actually had an opportunity to win the game. Was it yesterday? Yeah, I think. And she decided to pass it, and her teammate missed it, but that's okay. She was LeBron James right there. She didn't want to go for the shot herself. She wanted to give up, the higher percentage.
She did have 13 assists.
Yeah. And she even said that. She's like, hey, my teammates were, training shots, so I didn't mind giving up the ball. But if you want to be the person, you want to be her, you take that shot.
Speaking of being the person, though, and to kind of get us off the WNBA a little bit, we're just going to go NBA Jace and go to the NBA and touch on the Celtics here, bringing home title number 18, most in NBA history because they now passed the Lakers, who they were in a tie with. And speaking of teams, I mean, like they have two of the best players in the world on the same team, in Jaylen Brown and Tatum. And what they were able to do was really special. They bring home the 18th banner. Gentleman's sweep like we talked about last week. But other than that, I mean, do they just run the table again next year in the East? Like, I'm trying to think, like, yeah, because if they bring everybody back, I mean, is there enough out there that other teams can improve and get above them? I don't know. They're going to be tough to beat in the East. And raising banner number 18 is something that I absolutely never want to see. Cause I don't like Boston sports. I got to be honest. It's just me. It's fandom. Like it's ingrained in me.
I think just in sports in general, the hardest thing for a team playing an 82-game season like that is to have gotten to the top of the mountain and then be willing to put in the work to do it again the following year, because it's not easy.
Yeah, no, repeating in the NBA is not easy to do. Repeating in any sport is not easy to do. But Boston does have the talent and the depth. But you also remember Dallas is another young team. You still have Utah; it's a young, talented team. But in the East, I honestly think the Knicks and a lot of that depends on what happens with Obi. He turned down his player option, so he's going to be a unrestricted free agent this year. I think the Knicks would have gave Boston a run for their money in the Eastern Conference Finals way more than Indiana was able to. But I don't think there's enough out there of player movement that could really take place. You do have to remember Milwaukee. They were a headache for Boston this year, and if Giannis stays healthy, what happens? Jimmy Butler stays healthy, and that Miami team, they're a headache for Boston. So if I had to be a betting man, or if you were asking me to die on the hill, I'd be more willing to die on the hill that they're unable to do it than able to do it. And that's just winning the East. I don't mean winning the finals. I just mean just winning the East.
Yeah, I think they have a great chance of going back to back. They're bringing everybody back. Tatum and Brown are in their prime. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, OKC got a little bit better, making a trade for Alex Caruso. That West is still so deep. So I think the Celtics actually do get back into the finals and put themselves into a position to go back to back. But the West is just so competitive. So I have no idea who would come out of the West, because now OKC's got a little playoffs underneath their young belt. You bring in
Didn't they just make it? Yeah,
for Alex Caruso. Now you pair him and SGA up, who are two of the best defensive guys when it comes to steals.
Some people were trying to compare this to Iguodala trade that when the Warriors got Iguodala,
Maybe,
and that it's that kind. To me, it's Alex Caruso, man. Come on. What is he
Alex
done?
Caruso was never as big of a star as Iguodala was, but maybe he's going to have the same type of role where he's just shutting people down.
I don't see Alex Caruso being the difference in them winning a championship or not, though.
You never know. But
Dave, any thoughts on that?
I genuinely don't think Alex Caruso moves the needle much for me. I mean, he's a good NBA player. He deserves to play in the NBA, but I don't think Alex Caruso is what he's hyped up to be by fans of Alex Caruso, I guess you would say.
All right. Well, speaking of hyped up to be, the only other really NBA news this week, draft is on Thursday. I don't really know much about it. All I know is the kid Edie from Purdue. I'm interested to see where he goes. And the other thing is just who actually drafts Bronny Jr. or, Bronny James. Like, because to me, that's still the most ridiculous thing in sports. He should not be coming out of college. He's a guy who averaged less than, 5 points a game and, barely played when he was at USC. Nobody on the planet thinks he's one of the best, 80 players in even college basketball. Why would he come out for this draft other than the fact that he's just going to play with his dad and somewhere? So outside of the Lakers, like, is there any other team that Bronny James could possibly go to?
Oh man, so I think somebody's going to take a flyer on him, but I don't picture LeBron going to that team in the first year.
A flyer in what, the second round though? Gotta be, right?
Yeah,
Because they're
Gotta
saying
be.
possibly pick number 55 to the Lakers.
Hey, I'll just be happy for the kid if he gets drafted because, like you said, he didn't really have a great collegiate career.
This is to me a little bit of like, though, I have a little bit of an issue because I have no problem with fathers and sons and people playing together. When you have Griffey Sr., Griffey Jr.,
doesn't happen that often though.
Was great. Bonds, Barry Bonds and his father, like you can have great father and son pairs in sports. I'm not saying you can't, but Bronny James isn't great. He's not very good, to be honest, and he's pretty much. So few people actually get drafted into the pro sports in any sport. Whether we're talking football, basketball, baseball, doesn't matter what it is, it's hard to get drafted.
1%.
He was gifted that 1%. If his dad was not LeBron James, he would not be going to the NBA. He wouldn't even be at USC. So this to me is something that, like, I'm just like, this kid's just getting free money. This kid's getting a free pass. This guy is getting a dream of a lifetime that most people kill and work their tails off for. And I'm not saying the kid didn't put in a lot of work playing basketball. I'm sure he did, but he's just not very good at it. He's just not.
He'll smoke you, Eric. I know that.
Yeah, but I'm no good at it. But I'm self-admitted no good at it, and I'm not trying to get drafted. This to me is just a little bit of like, I just gotta be honest. I got a little bit of an issue with that because it's just, to me, it's not right. At least be good. If he's good, I got no problem.
Speaking of good things, on that note, we are 60 seconds from national anthem time. Do you guys have predictions for tonight's Game 7?
I'm going... I got to stick with my original pick, I guess, of Florida, so I'm going to go 4-3 Panthers.
With a score.
I'm rocking Edmonton still. I've been on them. I want Connor McDavid to win it, so I'm going 5-2. Let's go, Edmonton.
Dave?
give me. Oh, give me.
You did pick Florida.
I did pick Florida, so yeah, you're gonna have to give me Florida.
You don't have to do it that way. It's one game, man. The rest don't matter. We talked about it. One game, it don't matter.
I'm gonna do it. Give me Florida. Doing a score prediction 4-3 in overtime.
Both of you 4-3.
I went 4-3 regulation though, so he's a little different.
All right. So I think that the hardest task goes to the Florida Panthers. I think that Edmonton has been able to, for the last 3 games, play very loose and not worry about anything. You know, you got one game to do it. So they've been there now 3 times in the series and pulled it off. I think the hardest thing for Florida is forgetting the past 6 games. Not only that, but forgetting the fact that they were in the finals last year. It all needs to be outside of their heads. There can't be any inkling of that in their minds when they play this game. But with that said, I still am going with Florida to win the game. And I'm going to go 3-2 in overtime. Hopefully not double overtime.
All right, so Joey, the only one sticking with the Oilers.
Let's go, Canada. Let's go.
Blame Canada.
Yeah, what is that?
My guts, my heart's been telling me Edmonton. You know, I'd love to see them do it, but my gut's telling me Florida's winning this game. I got a big gut.
All right. Well, I mean, I think with that, we could kind of wrap up tonight. There's not much else to talk about right now other than I hope you guys are getting ready for the Olympics. I hope you guys are getting at least a little bit into it to, like I said, at least medal count wise, highlights wise. I've started watching some stuff on NBC, like, because again, I don't mind watching some of the swimming and some of that stuff. So I've been watching some of the qualifiers. Apparently, we got somebody on the track team as well who I think is setting
Sha'Carri
records.
Richardson. It's her redemption story, baby.
Is that what it is? Or is there another guy, Wilson, I heard, that was setting some records?
Him too.
Set, I think, 2 world records, I think, during the qualifiers and stuff. So, I mean, I'm getting a little bit excited for the Olympics. Plus, it's more sports to watch and such where we talked about it. It's the dog days of summer. There's not a ton on. Of course, we love some baseball, me and Joey, but we're getting to that halfway point. We're getting almost to the All-Star break. I talked to Joey earlier about maybe not talking too much baseball today. Maybe we'll do something baseball-wise, because I don't want to bore Dave and Eric off the phone, off the line here. I'm getting pumped for the Olympics. I hope you guys are too.
Look, and if you're looking for something to watch, for those of you who enjoy the World Cup every 4 years, the Euro Cup is currently underway, which is also a very fun tournament to watch.
And the Copa.
In soccer.
The Copa's going on too.
USA, baby.
US won the other day.
2-0.
So we got some stuff to watch.
America.
Canada.
Well, you can't watch America in the Euro Cup, unfortunately. But again, it's a fun soccer tournament. You enjoy watching soccer games. And speaking of America, I really hope that the Florida
you got censored by Edmonton there.
Oh, my bad. All I'm saying is I hope the Florida Panthers fans show a little bit of respect to the Canadian national anthem. I don't know if you guys heard, but the Florida Panthers fans booed the Canadian national anthem, and I think it was Game 5.
Terrible.
So then the Edmonton Oilers fans then booed, which doesn't generally happen in Canada, then booed the American national anthem in Game 6. So I'm hoping we can put all that behind us.
Did not
I think
know
that's
that.
an ugly thing.
I'm
I
changing
think
my
it's a very
prediction.
ugly thing.
I'm on
Well, they
Florida's side
responded.
now.
They responded, they were wrong first. 2 wrongs don't make a right, but what can you do?
Very true.
But I just feel like it's a very small story, but it adds that little bit of nonsense that we don't need to sport.
Won't disagree with you on that, but
And with that, I think it's time that we all go and watch Game 7
Oh, yes.
and enjoy our last night of hockey for at least a couple months. Because they don't start up again until what is it now?
I think it's
October
It's
is
either
when they
late
start, or
September
is it
early
late?
October.
Yeah, somewhere around there. So 2 months off or so.
Yeah.
So that it's a weird time in sports because then we get that one day in July that when the baseball's on the All-Star break,
ESPYs.
the ESPYs, it's the only day. It's like one of very rare days we have no sports. But what I'm hoping though is we're gonna have the Olympics at that time too. So at least we'll have something to tune into. And listen, if nothing else, the world, the Olympics, things, the World Cup, things of those nature, bring the world together to share one thing that we all care about every day here. And that's fandom, and that's sports. That's the one thing we can get on here and yell and scream about sports. It's amazing.
Hooray,
I love it.
sports.
I love it. It's the one thing that brings everybody together, even when you disagree. So with that,
well said, Eric.
Dave, why don't we tell everybody where they can find you?
At David Hastings 23 on Twitter. And at D Hastings 23 on Instagram. I don't know. I never remember.
So going exactly to that though, people should like, subscribe, follow, share, do all the fun things, right? Isn't that what a friend of ours used to say? Do all those things to help us out because it's free. Hit a like button. Doesn't cost you anything. Takes 3 seconds. Hit a like button. Hit a follow. Hit a share. Why not? If you like what you're listening to, share it out. Even if you don't, who cares? Send it out to people you don't like. We'll take anybody.
Hey.
But yeah, follow us on Instagram or you're on Instagram. So, Joey, why don't you tell them where you can find you on Instagram?
Joey Doth47 on Instagram. Doth stands for Die on This Hill.
And, yeah, Fife, how about you? You got any socials, anything you want to share out there?
No.
All right.
You can find me right here.
You find you right here, and that's where we love you, my friend. You can follow me at The Living Legend. You could follow me also, or follow Louis on Instagram at Louis Aussie Dude. Follow us on YouTube at Die on This Hill. And until next time, hey, listen, don't be afraid to have an opinion. Die on this hill with us.
Peace out, everybody.
All right.
Later.